Yes?
January 1981, Anand Sheela is officially appointed as Osho's secretary. July 10, 1981, Sheela purchases 64,000 acres of land in Oregon to create Rajneeshpuram. October 1984, Salmonella outbreak in the Dalles, Oregon, 751 people affected. Multiple other allegations follow. September 14, 1985. Sheela resigns and leaves the commune with some members. October 28, 1985. Sheela is arrested in West Germany and extradited to the U.S. December 1988. Sheela is released from prison after serving 39 months.
So Sheila, thank you so much for meeting with me and for having me here in beautiful Switzerland, the Bollywood scenery and everything, and for again having me over to your home. I think it's a great honor to see you in person.
It is my pleasure to see you,
Thank
a
you.
young person doing things that he likes.
Thank you so much. One of the things which interested me with your life was you spent 14 years with Osho, right? And then you had 39 months of, you were serving a sentence. But then thereafter, for 34 years, is where you have consistently served the most vulnerable part of a community here in Switzerland. And I think sometimes it is missed by the conversations because people are usually attracted to scandals and dramatic story pieces, but not so much of focus has been on your journey after the point of crisis to a point where you have crafted a new purpose and a contribution to society. So what I thought would be really useful was just kind of giving people that scene behind what would have gone through your mind at that point of crossroads. And again, you had kind of alluded that you are a person who is very action oriented. You don't like making extensive plans, but you still had a very clear pathway which you were able to craft. And many people are stuck when they come to that crossroads of life, right? They know that they want to change, but they don't know how to craft it. So I just thought if we could have a conversation on those elements of you moving from that crossroad into 34 years of this new purpose, I think that'll be of great benefit to listeners.
When I was with Bhagwan, I fell in love with him. And love was the basis of my dedication. His dream became my dream. And I sustained myself 14
Yeah.
years with him.
Yes.
After I left him, I had first time ability to look within myself.
Yes.
Though very clear
Yeah.
of my purpose of being with Bhagwan,
Yeah.
that love that I felt for him.
Yeah.
And the work I did was a monument of that love. I come out of prison, normally considered very hard days.
Right.
But I had learned from my parents and Bhagwan
Yeah.
that life is affirmative, life must be positive.
Right.
So I used these teachings, and I survived 39 months of imprisonment gracefully.
Yeah.
I came out of it, and I wanted my old parents to die feeling comfortable
Right.
that their youngest child also is doing well, and that I wanted them to be proud of me and my journey of life.
Yes.
That's when I set up my work
Yeah.
that I do in Switzerland of life living
Yeah.
with handicapped people
Yeah.
and working with it.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that I had learned Bhagwan's dream,
Mm.
life of community.
Okay.
And community does not stop at a family.
Right.
Community is generous and must be included with all.
Right.
They can participate. And this is Bhagwan's experiment of Oregon. Here,
Right.
this experiment functions well without single purpose.
Right.
In Oregon, purpose was, or Pune Ashram, purpose was meditation, enlightenment.
Right.
Here, purpose is simply, I am there for you.
So it's just to be a family member to those who need you.
They become my family.
Right.
I become their family
Right.
because they're all strangers from all walks of life.
Right.
And the concept is, I am there for you
Mm.
and you are there for me.
It's beautiful.
And that
Yeah.
was the basic concept of Bhagwan also.
Right.
This is why it functioned,
Mm.
because we come from all walks of life. We are multilingual.
Yes.
We live with different nationality, even in this small place.
True.
We are 15, 16 nationalities
Mm.
living together.
Yeah.
And we have people who can speak languages
Mm.
of their own.
Right.
And we have people with dementia who do not speak language,
Right.
but that is also a language.
True.
And the reason it is functional, because it is transparent.
It is
And
transparent.
we live in the moment.
Yeah, and just for the listeners, I've been having a look around Sheila's beautiful place, and what really captures you when you first walk in is everything is just open and transparent. There's no seclusion of anything. It's beautiful.
Good morning.
Good mornings in the afternoon, but that's the beauty of it, and I don't think it's that common to see something as beautiful as what you have built here and designed. I think, and it didn't fall in its place by itself. You have designed it that way. Would I be right to say that?
The building, I bought it
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah.
And we have renovated a little bit as finances allow.
Right.
And the interior, I have done it myself.
You developed it as the years went by.
Yeah, the interior, according to the budget, I would find the right elements to put together.
And prioritize accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And of
beautiful.
course,
Yeah.
they comply with the local regulations, etc.
Lovely, lovely. So, Sheila, just to guide our conversation, I was thinking how to do it in a way where listeners could take some of your um, life experiences and apply it in their own life, right? Because sometimes if people are listening to an interview and they're just kind of listening to two people talk, and if they can't relate to their own life or their problems, it is not much of value, isn't it?
Well, one of the first thing I would say, people want easy life.
Mm-hmm.
Easy life doesn't come without difficulties.
Right.
When you have difficulties, you can differentiate what is easy.
True.
So to have easiness in life, you have to be spontaneous.
Right.
You have to take risks.
Mm.
You have to stop moaning and groaning.
Yeah.
And get on with it.
True.
What happens is we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed
Mm.
with our difficulties.
Yeah.
Then all your energies goes in being overwhelmed.
You're right.
Instead of being with difficulty and how to get out of
How
it.
to overcome that particular one. You're right. Yeah. And interestingly, when I kind of put down on paper what people were telling me they are stuck, one of the things I have written here, and I just keep this paper down, is options overwhelm. If you can see that, those three, from what I've spoken with people over the years, those three areas, and as you accurately said, options overwhelm was something people kept repeating to me. Like, not everything was black and white as good or bad. It is the variations of good, better, and best. And they're like, what do I do next, right? So
when you are overwhelmed,
Mm.
you lose sight of your problem.
True.
And you want to have clear eye
Mm.
to recognize and analyze
Yeah.
your problem.
True.
I have had no difficulties with clarity.
Mm.
And the reason for it is my basic interest is I do something because I want to do it.
You have an interest in it.
Have interest in it.
Yeah. Which, like,
I am.
Yeah.
I am also very intuitive.
Right.
And when I have a doubt,
Mm.
my intuition, I listen to it, and
It
that guides me.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah. So, would you think, Sheila, that path to supposed life clarity should start internally, right? Instead of us looking outside for clarity, it should start from within us, right? And that's where many people told me they are stuck on how to get clarity themselves. Like, in terms of values, people are stuck even trying to define what is their own natural value, because society tells you these are the values you should subscribe to, but they may not be the values you may actually feel attracted to naturally, right? When you were at that point of crossroads, and you kind of alluded that it was a kind of a phase of good, deep introspection and reflection, because you never had the time to yourself before that. You were always busy. You were leading thousands of people, and your responsibilities were so high. But now you had finally time for yourself, right? When you kind of thought at that time, what would have been the values which were so close to you at that time?
the values that I had learned from my parents,
Yeah.
never to compromise your own integrity.
Yeah.
And when I left him, I had my own good reasons to leave him.
Yes. Because if you think about it logically, it would have been in your interest to stay, isn't it? Because things were so comfortable for you anyways.
Right,
You know?
right.
You are the leader. You are seen and recognized as the leader.
Exactly, but I could not trade it. I could not sell my integrity.
Yes. So that was the prime value system
Right.
according to your hierarchy, right? Would compassion be another value close to your heart? And the reason why I say that is looking at what you built over the last 34 years. It can't be built without compassion, without empathy for another human being. If you were looking for fame, you already had it in multiple measures, so that you had no need for it.
No, I wasn't looking for fame. I was looking to restart my life from the break of prison.
Yeah.
And again, the love for parents was at a top.
It was prime. Yeah.
And that prepared me for the dedication, the concept, what I have created,
Yeah.
being there.
Yes.
Just simply be there, whether you are here, there, anywhere.
Yeah.
If someone needs you, you're there.
You're right.
Then don't try to calculate.
Don't overthink
Be
it.
available.
Yeah.
This availability
Yeah.
brings the compassion
Right.
because there's no calculation.
True. It's not a give and get thing. You're
Right.
only thinking of what value can I bring to the other.
Right.
And in that way, it multiplies. There's
Exactly. Plus, when I give,
Yeah,
I am not expecting in return.
I get you.
Otherwise, giving becomes barter.
You're right. You're right.
I'm giving because I have abundance.
Out of abundance, you give.
Yeah.
And you're not losing anything in that
No.
way. When you think of it that way, you're not losing anything at
No.
all. Another thing people seem to struggle with is personal identity. Like, who am I? Like in terms of my responsibilities, in terms of my belief system, in terms of my roles, which I've subscribed to and accumulated over the years. So when you were at the crossroads, you had to kind of reshift and reconfigure your personal identity because you were a huge leader of a community, and then you are reconfiguring it to another personal identity. How did that take place?
I wore different hats,
Right.
but the core of Sheela remained.
Right.
When I was wearing a hat of Bhagwan's secretary, that was the most expensive hat.
Right.
But that hat did not buy Sheela.
Mm-hmm.
The inner core,
Remain the same.
I didn't have a swollen head. I was the same way easygoing as I am now,
Yeah.
then and before.
And that's one thing I find fascinating because you have been exposed to the maximum amount of fame and attention, but you've never let pride get to you. And that is a very difficult thing, right? When people don't have their character built enough and they get power quite early in their life, they don't know how to cope with it. But it didn't seem to affect you because even now, you're making yourself available to anyone who wants to get some knowledge from you, some wisdom points from you. And even while you're running the home and all the responsibilities, all the administrative tasks, I'm sure regulators are here to inspect and all of those responsibilities, you're still making time available to impart knowledge to others who seek that.
It is very important. my parents and Bhagwan has offered me so much that if I did not share it with the world, it would not be right. And when you receive so much, and if you're not generous, then you have not received it.
I get you. Would you think your greatest gift, Sheila, is that natural sense of leadership? You didn't really need to go to a college to learn that, right? You didn't do a master's in business administration.
I am the least uneducated person.
But naturally, you are a better leader than most of the Harvard-educated business administrators. Like I saw in one interview, and they said you're probably the first female CEO coming from India. And I think that's true because in the 80s especially, your leadership shone bright.
Well, my boss,
Yeah.
Bhagwan, was one of a kind. And he was master of masters. He could train me with one movement of an eye to rule half the community.
So are you saying you learned some of those leadership skills from observing his behavior and actions?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Credit goes to him.
Lovely. In terms of, as you said, overwhelm, people get overwhelmed by options, right? When you, as we discussed earlier, you already had fame. You had the world fascinated with you in the 80s already. It was very simple for you, even after coming out of prison, to perhaps launch a Bollywood movie. Become a star. You could have become a star even then, right?
But I'm now a star.
You are already. You absolutely. You certainly are.
Hollywood has done a movie.
Yes.
A Wild Wild Country.
Yes.
And Bollywood has done Searching from Sheila.
They have.
So I have covered the world.
That is very true indeed. That is very true indeed. But in terms of all the options available for you, you were not seeking options because they were coming to you.
Right.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. You are attracting all the options to you. So the challenge then for you was how to distill it down to a few things which is close to your heart.
It was simple. I had learned to set priority working under Bhagwan.
Right.
There I grew up. And priority must be chosen from heart.
Right.
So love was the basis of my dedication.
Yeah.
And heart was my ruler.
Right. So you're led by love and compassion, and you let that guide you in all decisions. Somehow you have kept yourself away from the world's pull, isn't it?
I live here by myself with my people.
Yeah. And you're happy.
I feel complete.
Yeah, because I was observing you inside and you're genuinely happy, talking. And the people there you serve are genuinely happy to have you in your life, the smile on their face is genuine. Your interaction is genuine. There's nothing put up. And anyways, logically, it can't be a put up act for 34 years.
No.
Why would anyone do that?
Even for 3 days.
It is not possible.
No.
That mask will slip, isn't it? And I think that's something your critiques should think about.
I agree with you.
Before they throw darts on a path they haven't walked.
Right. I don't take my critique as a negative event.
Right.
It's their opinion. They have their freedom.
And right to it.
For their opinion.
Yeah.
And I have my freedom.
Yeah.
To take what I will.
Right. That's beautiful. Yeah. In terms of legacy, like how would you like your life story to be remembered, Sheila,
As it is.
as it is?
Yeah.
You don't
No
want to craft
changes.
it in any
No,
way.
no. Because life that I have lived,
Mm,
that I'm living now, and probably what I will live in future, all
mm.
is defined by living.
Right. It's not
And
just by thought.
it is keine, it is not, I started talking German, keine.
Okay.
It is not
Right.
artificial.
No.
It's genuine.
It just comes with the flow.
Yeah,
Because as you said earlier, it's built on love and compassion. So whatever are the offshoots of that, it flows accordingly, right?
right.
In terms of when you were at the crossroads again, and then you have through some thought decided that your contribution to society would be to a certain cohort of people who are the most vulnerable, in a healthcare uh, uh, side of things. How did you come to that decision? Was it just natural? Did you just come across a need in society?
To get started
Hmm.
after prison, I had found a job because I spoke no German then.
Right.
I was coming out of prison
Hmm.
with an old couple.
Right.
I needed to eat, and I was too proud to put my hand out.
Right.
So I had to find immediately something. I was lucky I had a Swiss passport,
Right.
so I didn't have to go look for a work permit.
That's good. Yeah.
In those days, work permit was difficult
Right.
also.
Right.
So I worked as a housekeeper with this old couple. I took care of them. They were over 80.
Right.
And I worked 9 months.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, I think the listeners should kind of just digest that, because from leading a community with thousands of people, over 65,000 acres, was it, Sheila?
Something
Around
like
that. Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah, 65,000 acres. You then had to correct your life, but then you had no pride in working as a housekeeper.
Oh,
for-
definitely not. All work is worship that I have learned from my father, mother, and Bhagwan.
Right. See, many people would find that
And-
very difficult.
Right. Job title. Don't make us or break us.
No.
It is how we go about life.
True.
How much acceptance and courage we have to take on.
Yeah.
That's what makes us.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a whole new way of thinking, and I totally, it's in alignment with my beliefs as well. Even if you're cleaning the toilets in a shopping mall, that is noble work.
That's easy work. You get your pay, you get tips, and you have clean toilet
Mm-hmm.
for yourself too.
Absolutely. In terms of another thing, so you didn't just stop with identifying a need in the community. You just got on with action.
Exactly.
So in terms, many people overthink their vision, right? So they have a personal vision of their own, but they overthink it, over-engineer it, and they never get off paper. It's all on paper, stuck there. How did you just get on with it and actually make it into fruition of what we see today?
Because I'm not friend of paper.
Okay. You just like to do it.
Yeah. That's what we learned creating Bhagwan's community also.
Right.
I was not an architect.
Mm.
I had no idea of land use laws. I had no idea of construction.
Yeah.
Just a little bit what as a young girl, child, I had seen my father build a mud house
Right.
that we lived in it,
Yeah.
or concrete house, raw constructions, and common sense.
Right.
When you have common sense, 80% work is done.
Right.
And that I had it. My mother was a very practical woman,
Right.
and she gave me the sense of that practicality
And confidence.
and confidence.
You didn't feel that you need to be learned in the academic way.
No, I learned by doing it.
Through life. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have to say that often what we learn in school, we have very little opportunity to use.
Right. I get you.
Unless you are a professor.
That is very true, because many things we learn, the concepts, we don't ever apply it in life at
Right.
all. Probably 5%, 10% we apply it, right? In terms of, so there is a Hollywood actor called Denzel Washington. Have you heard of him?
No.
Tina?
I have no touch.
Okay. So he says this, right? So he says, without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. What is remarkable is 34 years, you never wavered from this goal of setting this facility up to people who need it. And you didn't jump visions in also. You kept to it. So that flow, how do you manage that consistent flow? Because many people can't be consistent in things.
I enjoy doing what I do.
Right.
I enjoy expanding on the work that I do. And it is a small institute,
Yeah.
but a lone woman doing it
Yeah.
with some of her team
Yes.
is already quite a lot, quite
True.
a big event.
It is.
When we were building Rajneeshpuram, there were collective work from all lovers of Bhagwan.
Right.
And their work had a different kind of ease
Right.
because we all had same purpose. Here I was alone. I work with non-Europeans also.
True.
And I had to teach them my standard.
Right.
I had to break them into certain reliability.
Right.
And I must say, I have been very lucky.
Right.
My average worker is 20 years working with me.
Wow.
So
And that's a testament.
that
Yeah.
tells about them and also tells about
Your
me.
leadership, yes.
I have kept the worker more entertainment. Of
Absolutely.
course, we have severe cases
Of course.
that we deal with,
Yeah.
but we bring these severe cases as a part of our life in such a way, include them
Hmm.
that we feel the hole in their hearts
Right.
of love.
Right.
And
And that's a big gap to fill, isn't it? That can take years sometimes.
many psychological illnesses are related to lack of love,
Affection and early day,
attention,
even,
and
that could be childhood trauma.
manage to give them.
You're right. Yeah.
And that attention does the work
Yeah.
which some hard medicine doesn't do it.
True. True. Another stumbling block is people who at least are able to start a vision, right? Then they get a lot of criticism from a lot of naysayers or people who just don't have good wishes on what they're doing. And you get that a lot as well. It's not that everything is a bed of roses for you. You get a lot of criticism, you get a lot of accusations from people online. So the resilience is so important for you. And you've always been resilient in terms of a lot of, accusations coming down your way. You haven't been much flustered with that. How do you generally deal with criticisms and accusations which you know are not true?
I don't have to prove myself. And maybe they don't understand now my reality. Maybe they will understand someday.
Okay.
And if not, it will be their problem than mine. I don't have to take judgment of people.
And you have no interest in changing their opinions as well.
No, they should have it and enjoy it.
Brilliant.
It keeps them busy. They will criticize somebody else less.
Yeah.
And that person will have easier life.
And that side of Sheila has remained the same from Rajneeshpuram
Right.
till now. I don't see any changes at all.
There were none.
That's beautiful. From your story, like, how do you define success, Sheila? For you, do you feel you have already been successful in life? What would you advise people to mark their success upon?
Contentment.
Okay.
When you are content,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not worried about success.
Right.
That means you are automatically successful.
Right.
And I'm content. I was content doing Bhagwan's work. I did it 100%. I could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm content now, and I do my part 100% as I can do it.
So you're saying, opposed to the world's generally acceptable view that success is related to financial kind of opulence and accumulation of wealth, you are suggesting we link it to our own fulfillment rather.
I think people have lost the value of money by being greedy.
True.
People have misunderstood money. Of course, we need money to pay our rent, pay our this, but you need not be obsessed by it.
Right. So keep the practical need of it.
Right.
Don't neglect it, but then don't let it take over your life.
Exactly. And nowadays, what has happened, I was asked recently in Baroda at a university, one of the university interaction with the students, that students, after they graduate, they can't wait to get a job where they are making high amount
You're
of
right.
money.
You're right.
They commit suicide.
That's true. It's very sad.
The suicide rate has increased so much.
True.
Then I say, what are we teaching these children, these youngsters?
You're right.
That we are giving them wrong values.
Their foundations are not solid. Yeah.
Right. Their basic values are not properly laid out.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to perform to have your millions or billions.
True.
Out performance you have, and you're not overnight millions.
Right.
Life is easy when you accept it on its face value.
True. So,
and we forget the face value.
True.
What is money's value? Ability to barter.
True. It's trade something for something.
Right. But now you just want to take. You just want to take.
Yeah.
Because people value only the heaps
signs of
wealth,
yeah,
gold, heaps of money.
property. Yeah,
No, you cannot.
true.
When I look, I'm 75-year-old now.
Yeah.
When I look at my needs, I have only 40% need of what, as a young person, I would have it.
I get you.
People comment on my clothing. They say, "Oh, you wear nice clothing. It suits you. You're always looking nice." I never buy brand names. You understand?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you just buy good, decent things.
What feels comfortable for me?
Yeah,
And I dress it
accordingly. Yes.
According to my comfort.
I get you. Very good.
And I put colors together as my heart
Preferences.
desires.
Lovely. And it looks beautiful on you. Is that from India? The shawl you're wearing?
This shawl in India, this is Indian. This is my kurta from India.
Yeah.
Jeans I had bought in India.
Oh my, you're fully decked up in Indian attire then.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what are your hopes for the future or plans for the future, Sheela?
I will give you answer on this as soon as future comes here for today.
So you told me a bit before we started recording, you like to take things as it comes along, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I have to do in the moment.
You take it. You don't overburden yourself.
No. Now, one reality I know it's going to come, but when it is going to come, I don't know. And that is my last day on this earth.
True. None of us know that, isn't it?
Exactly. And I won't...
It's no point worrying about that.
Worry my head about it.
No. And that can come at any age, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it can come only at a certain age.
But at the age of 75, it is much nearer.
True. One thing, when you look back at your life, what is one thing which gave you the greatest sense of fulfillment in the way you define fulfillment? What was that one point? Love. So wherever you experience love, you experience fulfillment. And
I find love everywhere.
Because you choose to see it everywhere.
Yeah, maybe I'm colorblind and I see only love.
That's a nice way to see it. Colorblind to hatred. Isn't it? That's beautiful. One of the things I noticed is in the 80s, you were probably the greatest marketer in the world at that time. Because I was seeing, like, from Pune, when you moved to Oregon, you didn't choose 65 acres. You went 65,000 acres. And I think the brand Osho is something attributed to you, because if you had remained there, and I think the Oregon idea was yours, if I'm right. Yeah. I think if you had remained in India, the brand of Osho wouldn't have caught fire as your decision to go there, but it's that grand vision. How is it that you thought 65,000 acre level, not 65 acre? How does that happen?
Simple. I was looking for a land beautiful for Bhagwan.
Right.
But for me, Bhagwan was not alone.
Okay.
He had thousands of disciples. And they would come and live with him.
Right.
Then I have to find a beautiful land for equally for everyone.
Right.
To enjoy a natural beauty. And that meant land that my eyes cannot fathom.
Right.
And then every hill we can build
A city
a
of thought,
home,
isn't it? Yeah.
or every valley we can build.
Anywhere you see,
Yeah.
you are
And
designing.
you have a beauty around it.
Beautiful. In India, there have been some comparisons to Osho with some of the new mystics. I don't know whether you have come across them online. There is one gentleman called Sadhguru. I don't know. Have you seen him online? And what are your thoughts?
I have not seen him in online
Okay.
because I have no need for it.
Okay.
For me, Bhagwan had completed my circle of life.
Right.
And I didn't go to Bhagwan looking for shopping for spirituality or meditation. I fell in love with the man.
And you've been clear that you are not a spiritual person as such.
Always.
You've been very truthful and honest.
Yeah.
You didn't try to portray something you were not.
No.
And that's something which is quite attractive. The truth seems to be very closely aligned to your personal identity. And that's why I think you were able to make the priority for integrity over an easier life. And that seemed to have guided you through life and all the decades.
It is so. It is so. And yeah, people, many foreigners or the Indians, Sauk, they go to one guru to another guru, they sit, compare, they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Waste time. And I have no time for that kind of nonsense.
And they get into a dependence on that person rather than seeking it, upskilling themselves to be resilient.
And when I have received all that I want to receive from Bhagwan, I don't need Sadhguru or anybody.
Right.
I live my life by myself now.
Understood. Do you follow politics at all in India from Switzerland?
No.
You're not interested in politics at all?
Politics.
If you get a call to come into Indian politics, you would have zero interest then. Would you?
I would not be so dumb to say yes. I can say yes to any journalist to come, but politician, I have no need.
No, there's no interest in that.
And I'm not made up for it. Plus, I would have to trade myself. And I'm not a
sell
trader.
parts of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a movie, I believe Bollywood was trying to plan ahead. Would you have any updates on, is that in the pipeline?
I have no update and I have given up the hope that they will do it while I'm alive.
Okay. So,
but if existence changes its mind and it happens, I will go and watch it.
That's fine. You're happy to be part of it, but you don't have it's not very close at the moment as we speak today.
They were trying to collect financing.
Right.
And again, the greed is a major part.
Right.
From all involved. And they haven't found financing for the last 7 years.
Okay. So it's a practical hurdle more than...
Yeah.
Because I would assume if they do make a movie, a biopic, it would be a blockbuster because the interest is there from the public.
I can say you're right. It would be a blockbuster because I cannot say there are many women in the world which has lived as intensely as I have.
Or had the adventures you've had.
Right.
You know, in terms of music, I heard in one of your interviews, you are an ardent music lover. You love fine arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's close to your heart, right?
Yeah.
would you have a favorite song which is close to you?
I don't make favorites
No?
in that sense. In the moment, what I'm listening is for the moment favorite.
Right. So
Yeah.
you don't stick to one
No,
song and
I
repeatedly listen to it.
hear same song over and over again
Right.
till I feel, oh,
Yeah.
that was beautiful. The words were wonderful. And when that feeling goes and something new comes, then I allow
You're able
the
to enjoy that as well. So that's beautiful. Is there anything you'd like the listeners to hear from you which you might not have shared in the past in other interviews, which you would like to share?
I have always shared
Yeah.
what I feel, what I think, and how I live.
Yeah.
Whatever I have shared is my experience, and I don't hold back in sharing.
Yes.
If I have felt that what we need to do, be active in it,
Yeah.
is young generation to have life's values.
Right.
They can choose their values,
Okay.
but have some basic values that can guide you through the life.
And not compromise on it at all.
Not
at all cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
And
me,
yeah,
basic values are very valuable.
true.
Today, many parents don't have time to teach that to children.
True.
People are, because of technology, digital lifestyle,
Yeah.
they have moved away from heart. They need to get in touch with their own heart and emotions.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I do hope that listeners take from your wisdom points what you shared today, because there's a lot you have shared today which people can actually apply in their life if they think about it. Because you've touched a variety of points. You've gone through about the importance of value system and never compromising on it at all costs. You've gone through identity. You've gone through how you can build a legacy of value to a society, and how you have crafted your own. But also you taught and kind of given some very practical tips on not how to not get stuck with overwhelm with ideas, because many people have lots of good ideas, but then your encouragement to immediately change it into actions and not to get too bogged down is very practical, I thought.
Right.
So I do hope that listeners take those points and apply it in their life immediately, and find a conversation of great value in their own decision making. And I hope that it'll actually lead many to get away from that crossroad point of their life where they've been stuck for several years, and perhaps draw that inspiration from you and your life story to get themselves into a point where of a great vision, a grand vision. But as you said, it should be built on compassion, should be built on giving and not to think about taking. And more so, it's always linked to very strong set of core values.
Correct. Correct.
Lovely.
That's how India had obtained its independence.
Yes.
The few young men at the time
Yeah.
with basic values
True.
went forward and took this mammoth job
Mm-hmm.
of throwing Englander out of India
Yeah.
and regaining their freedom.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Because otherwise things would have never changed, right?
Right.
And because for them, at all costs, everything was worth sticking to those values which they kind of
Right.
had crafted. Sheila, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for having me. And also thank you for your time and for your transparency and for your openness to sharing your life experiences so that it can impact another. Thank you. It's been
I
a
thank
great
you for
pleasure.
coming to visit me.
Thank you so much.